Hi, I'm Arif Delvi from Application Technology Group within Global Sales Engineering. The first part of our video was the introduction and the file import process. Now I'm going to be showing the data cleansing portion in customer data hub flow. So just to give you a recap as to what we did in our previous video, we did a file import process, but before we did that, we logged in using this application login, and we used the user Mandy Stewart, the weekly password, and we went into file import activities, manage import activities, and then we actually created a import process and then executed the import process. We uploaded around about 15 records, and these records are visible as for Mandy Stewart in accounts, sales accounts. So just going back to these record sets, we had a few of them which did not have zip codes, and we wanted to put in the zip codes using the batch data cleansing process. So let's go into data cleansing. So what I do is I first go back to the home page. Again, you can do this in two ways. You can go to the home page and then go into the data cleansing process, or you can use the navigator. So it's under the customer data management. This is much easier for me to do, so I usually use this path. So here I go into data cleansing. So these are previously a few batches that have been run, so let's create a new one. So let's say action create, and here we're going to say account and address clean. It's just a name that you need to give, and it uses the address configuration, address cleansing configuration, and it would be on a automated manner. There are two ways of doing this. One is simulated and one is automated. In simulated, it would show you the results, and then you have to accept the results for the process to complete and update the records in the tables. In automated, it actually cleanses and updates the records in one particular batch. So I want to actually have a search specification over here where I'm going to say the locations that have been created, creation date, after, let's say, sysdate -1, which should give us all the records which have been created in the last 24 hours. So let me do a submit, schedule, and then submit this particular batch. So I'll say OK over here. So while this batch is running, it takes a few minutes for this to run. So while this batch is running, I want to show you another piece which is very important for our data cleansing, which is basically making sure that actually data cleansing is enabled for a particular country or a set of countries. To do that, we have to go into setup and maintenance, and then we have to say manage geographies. So I'd say manage geographies, and then it's going to list the manage geographies task. So I would go into the manage geographies task. Let's say go to task, and here since I loaded most of them as US records, let me search on the country code, which is US. So the most important thing over here to note is basically making sure you have address cleansing defined, and then basically it has to have a check mark over here. So if it is not defined, it will not have a check mark, and then you can actually click over there and select it as optional. So let me just cancel out of here since the job is running. I don't want to do anything. So let me cancel this and let me take a different country. For example, so Russia. Don't think I have set it for Russia. Okay, so I've not set it for Russia, right? So it would look basically like this, where you have nothing enabled. So if you want to enable it for Russia, for example, I'll just click over here and then say it as optional and then say save and close. So you get a check mark basically saying that this has been defined. Since we are using EDQ with conjunction with data as a service, so we are using EDQ AV as our data cleansing engine. We would have this enabled for all the countries, and there should not be any problem to enable it for any country you'd like. So that being said, let me segue into showing you actually how this has been set up. So I would say manage enterprise data. So here we have both the cleansing and the matching task that comes up. So let me just go to the cleansing configuration, and it says that this is for address cleansing. And here it shows how the fields and the EDQ attributes that have been mapped. And one good thing here you could do is you can actually review the configuration results to make sure if your matches are coming up. So what I'll do is I'll enter an address, say 500 Oracle Parkway. So the state is California, city is Red Earth City, country is USA, and I want to put in a zip code, so it needs to get me back the zip code and the correct address. So if you have enabled it for a new country, for example Russia, what we just did, you can come back and check over here if it is actually validating the addresses. So I say find, and now it comes back with many options. That means this actually is working fine and the address is getting cleansed. And here you can actually see, if you go to scroll to the right, you can see the verification code, and you can see what is the zipless one that returns back, and then it seems cleaned and exactly what's happening over here. So let me say back, and I want to cancel out of this task. One more back, cancel, done. So let me just go back to my cleansing job. So I'm using the navigator this time, and I go into data cleansing. Okay, so the data cleansing job, it says it has completed. So let me drill down over here, and here it'll show me for which country it has done. Since I didn't specify the country, it would have been all the countries which have been loaded in the last 24 hours, but since I just loaded this, I was pretty confident that it's not for any other countries. And it says there are a total of 15 records, 14 got cleansed, 1 got skipped, and then 15 were accepted, which basically says 15 records were updated. So let's go back and check the records. So I can go back to home. Okay. Yes, and then I can go to sales, accounts, and see all the records that are here. Just to give you an example, let me go back to my Excel sheet. On the customer data, and see here for Triple, for example, this did not have a zip code when we loaded it. So both the Triple records did not have a zip code, so I can choose any one of them. And let's go back and see whether this record has a zip code. So now I go and see, okay, so this particular record has a zip code. That means that it got cleansed during our batch cleansing process and it got accepted. So this is how we do the batch cleansing process. And hopefully this has been useful. Take care and have a great day. Thank you so much.